then we've got Colt Seaman in the house. How you doing, buddy? Says this generation's Hunger Games or Harry Potter is the anime manga genre, like My Hero Academia or Demon Slayer or the upcoming Chainsaw Man. Well, now, like My Hero Academia hasn't, and that and Demon Slayer been around for like quite a while now. Like
I remember hearing it for maybe over a decade.
Well, as much as I love
at least
as much as I love Demon Slayer, none of it is going to have the broad appeal of a Harry Potter.
That's the thing is, as much as anime and manga is popular in certain corners, it just doesn't have the reach.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, but
it is, but it doesn't have the same reach as some of these other properties.
Anime is more popular as a genre than it is for the specific stories, because you'll always find lots of fans of anime, and they all have a very eclectic taste of anime.
As an industry, it's popular.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But for a single IP, that we haven't had something that broke the dam, so to speak, in a long while.
I mean, Demon Slayer was one of those that did do well, I think, with their recent, because then they do a movie like fantastic. Recently, and it did pretty well.
It's not Harry Potter. Again, one of the ways to judge these IPs is, does it become cultural?
Yeah. And Harry Potter really peaked during a very heavily competitive period, which was the Star Wars prequels. Like Harry Potter peaked and held its own and surpassed at that time. That's pretty impressive to do. I don't think we haven't had another repeat of that with another IP that's made that has basically come into the cultural zeitgeist.
Yep.
Well, but my whole point basically is a lot of these stories and IPs within anime and manga are already, like we just said, 2 decades old. In some cases, like even Bleach and One Piece ones are people bringing up in the chat. Those are older properties. They've been around for a while. Like, so
One Piece has like 500 episodes or something of that nature.
That's my point. Like, it's not like it's brand new, right? Like, it's an ongoing saga that's been going on now for the better part of almost 2 decades, or at least a decade. So
Neil Gaiman might be capable of writing something monstrous. He is one of the few, even if you didn't like Sandman, the TV show, I'm always staggered at his capabilities to imagine new things.
And there may be new stuff, but what kind of new stuff makes the kind of impact of these other ones that are more long running series?
And like
that's
I said,
my point. Yeah.
The success of the old IPs required mining of older ideas that were still part of the memory structure of the audience that embraced them. The modern audience knows no history. Pre-1980, it's scorched earth. That's the problem.
It's also an opportunity.
Pardon me?
It's also an opportunity.
It's an opportunity to come up with, again, when the science fiction writers of the time were, read Stanislaw Lem, the Invincible, and you're going, okay, how the heck did he come up with that? That's just, off the top of his head, or that's such an amazing book. Who's doing that? Maybe there are authors right now published that we haven't read. I haven't been doing a lot of reading lately.
We haven't had any breakthrough authors in a while. Like, I mean, that's the thing, is the beauty of it is we live in a world now where as an author, you can self-publish through like Amazon and other means. But I don't know if, because we haven't had like one of those breakthrough authors.
It doesn't help because people don't read books anymore.
That is the other bigger problem, is kids don't like to read. We have a whole generation that's not, as much as they read every day on a computer and in their handheld device, they don't like to read books. Like, I can't tell you one book my kid has read from beginning to end that isn't a picture book from when he was a kid, that he wasn't forced to read in school. And even then, I question whether or not he actually read most of
one of the most profound books my son read, not too recently, he's a tough reader, was Fahrenheit 451. And he could not believe the book. It was way
and
too
how old is he?
For him. Pardon me?
But about roughly how old is he?
He's 24 now. But
okay,
I think
so he's in that age group. Okay, well, that's kind of surprising.
But the themes of Fahrenheit 451 were shockingly disturbing for him. So, and it's a brilliant book. The new Puritanism is reminds me of Fahrenheit 451.
Colt has a follow-up to that. Thank you again, Colt Seaman. He says, I made a mistake. Bros is our generation's Harry Potter.
Oh, God.
I think Billy would agree with you on that
Well, it certainly had the potential to be.
More like Harry Plopper. Thank you for that, Colt Seaman. Professor Gray says, upcoming IP check, Royal Road for Fiction. Royal Road for Fiction.
And even in Canada, I don't know how much the reach was in the United States, but globally, Anne of Green Gables was a monster IP.
Oh, yeah, in Canada.
No, Japan. I mean, globally it was. I don't think it was that big a deal in the United States.
Anne of Green Gables, I remember it. I mean, it was kind of like...
Actually, you know what? I remember seeing a bunch of advertisement for new Anne of Green Gables. I think it was film or miniseries when I was touring Europe in 2008. It was all over the place.
No, Anne of Green Gables is sort of, you know, it's like Asterix and Obelisk, where it's famous everywhere but the fucking United States.
It does have a following here,
is the hole where other people's ideas die.
It didn't nearly have like this huge impact or anything like that. I think it had like a Disney Channel.
A teacher impregnates one of its students in Anne of Green Gables.
Yeah, or maybe it wasn't Disney Channel. It had to be some other. Maybe it was PBS or something.
The dragons in Anne of Green Gables were awesome.
I just remember being.
Oh yeah, the breast dragons.
Yeah.
Or was it HBO that had that? Maybe it was HBO that had that.
No, PBS I think played Anne.
Was it PBS? Okay, I knew it was one of those, but anyhow. I mean, I have no room to speak. I don't get to read a lot of books. I mean, this is the last book I got to read. So
no, I think books. I mean, books are a great place to get an idea started. I mean, obviously, I don't think J.K. could have started with a Game of Thrones kind. Well, Game of Thrones came from books, but you get to work out an awful lot of stuff in books that then that gets translated into movies, and even then. You can't contain everything. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was a very difficult thing to translate, even into that smart TV show, which I loved.
I love the TV show, but and the movie I thought had some potential, but it just was the wrong time for the wrong audience. I don't think they knew what they were trying to do with that. At
Hitchhikers?
Time. The newer one, the one that Disney tried to put out here about 10 years ago.
Actually, 2005, I think it was.
Was it that long ago already? Jesus Christ.
Yes, it was. I remember in the
90s,
a lot of my older friends who tried to self-produce a Hitchhikers, and they got permission from Douglas Adams to do so, got cease and desist orders from Disney like about a week after. Like they were very, very dedicated trying to make that movie. I think they were. I think Sam Rockwell as
Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Zaphod Beeblebrox was inspired. I think he was.
It was like half a good movie and then half not, and you could tell they were setting up like a trilogy. Yeah. But like
Douglas Adams wrote the script for that too. So this was not a cheap, intellectually cheap exercise.
No, but they cut out some of the best jokes, and then they turned around and they tried to market it for a family audience, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was.
I did. I thought it was. I was kind of more upset of how it played out more than anything, because I'm like, it kind of reminds me of fucking John Carter of Mars, Andre. It's a similar thing.
John Carter.
Yeah, it kind of does. How they just kind of fucking snafu'd that whole thing that could have been.
I don't disagree with you. They did kind of botch it, and to me, I think it had the wrong director or the wrong directing team, because it was directed by Hammer and Thongs, someone associated with like a British commercial thing, because they wanted someone really good, and they couldn't get that really good, whoever it was, and then they got like his friends instead.
Well, it was well casted. It had gorgeous design. Like, I mean, you could tell they stuck some money into the production design. So, I mean, I was glad that got some love. And I mean, as far as the cast goes, I mean, it was a pretty decent cast for the most part. I mean, especially, you've got Marvin being played by Alan Rickman of all, like, that was just genius.
As failures go, it was not a cynical effort, and I gave them full credit for that. And I thought considering the fact that the source material was so vast, I thought they did a damn fine.
And I loved the song in the beginning, like it was
Oh, yeah.
pitch perfect. Like "So Long and Thanks for All the Fish" was just one of the. I think that was the problem with the kids.
Guitar medley of the both the radio play and of the TV series. They kept that muted. That was brilliant.
That's cool. But like that was the thing, is because like we took the kids and everything to see at the time. Like a girlfriend and I had my kid.
Not a
and
kids
her
movie.
kids. It wasn't like after the dolphin thing, they just weren't into it. And
no.
That was the problem.
British. I'm sorry, we have to clear. The earth is in the way of. I mean, the metaphors that it's complete Douglas Adams.
Well, I was hoping some of the older
British
kids would get it. That was kind of the thing, and the younger kids just had to come along because we were going to a movie. But I was just disappointed that it just didn't resonate like it should have.
No, it's all about British bureaucracy. If you really don't feel it or understand it, then you don't get the movie.
But yeah, like I mean, the older kids were at that point where I felt like they could have. I was kind of hoping this could have been that generation's Monty Python, right? Like I was like, if these kids get it, and it just didn't click.
Nope. Douglas Adams is making fun of the minutiae and mundaneness and impenetrable nature of British bureaucracy. That's the entire joke of the entire Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So I can see a lot of Americans not getting it, but I don't mean that in a pejorative way either. If you just don't know Britain.
And how they do stuff, or even the weird logic that comes from British culture, because they have a different approach to it than the United States.
No, I get it. I just figured with the way they were making it flashy, it might get the kids' attention, and then maybe that would open the door, to like Monty Python and other things. But no, it didn't click with the kids.
The fact that you had to fill out forms and the Volgons let them go because they had the right form and.
Yeah, I mean, I especially like the species that has so many arms. They invented aerosol before anything else, like aerosol deodorant before anything else. Like that is a very clever British type of joke because it's what's the priority of the species? We have so many armpits and the armpits smell. I mean, like that's brilliant. You don't get clever things like that too often from current generation at least.
And just the idea. What's his name with the big glasses? The American actor who had the millions of tiny legs.
Oh, that was Malkovich, John Malkovich.
John Malkovich.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the story or his character was, but the realization of how it was created, that was bloody brilliant. How did we get on this? That was me. I'm sorry.
I don't know, but it's okay.
I'll talk get on this. Actually, there was a rumor of another Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series coming.
Well, Hulu's been working on it for a while, through Disney. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to turn out.
It's not an American property. It just isn't.
Well, it should be produced by Britain, and then if we can, then it is. It's a niche property over here, definitely.
The culture of it is so important in the same way that the Japanese movie "Shall We Dance" didn't convert to the United States, because without the Japanese cultural element to it, then the movie doesn't work.
No, but I mean, I'm a fan, and I saw the old series. I've read the one version of the book, and I haven't got the newer versions yet. I've been wanting to get there's a newer
and don't forget
version
Monty Python was not that big in the United States.
Not really.
There's a lot of rabid fans from PBS, but nope, it was not.
Well, the movies helped Monty Python over here. That was the thing. Like most people know the movies, but they're very outside of. If you go talk about a skit that's not in and now for something completely different, they don't know it very well.
Yeah,
because I've talked about a few skits and people are just like, huh, what? Like it's like one of my favorite ones is like the reversal roll on like the whole like you got the one I think it was God was I anyway the kid was it was
the mining
kid, the miner. Yeah,
I told you I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew you meant that. Oh, what's wrong with being a novelist?
Yes, yes.
Oh yes, you wanted to be a miner. Yeah.
You think mother don't get sick and tired of going on to those parties all the time?
That's right. I'm ashamed
that's one of my
you,
favorite
son.
ones. I'm ashamed of you, son.